Steelers fall to 3-1. It's their first loss. Anthony Richardson starts the game for the Colts 3 for 4 for 71 yards. A couple big plays in there. Unfortunately, a couple of runs as well. 3 carries for 24 yards. First, his second run looked like he took a hit, hurt his hip, and then they call QB counter, and he gets hit again and comes out of the game. I don't know why they called QB counter when he was banged up, but it looked like he kind of collapsed. Had the old school Madden 95 hip pointer, as I highlighted last night on the live show. But Richardson comes out injured for the 4th time in his very young career.
For the 4th time in 7 starts, he's been injured in some kind of significant way.
He has a higher injury percentage than completion percentage.
That's not great. It was funny because he left the game for a play or two, having launched himself back first into Minkah Fitzpatrick on that run, right? And he came back in the game, and the first thing the commentator says, well, they're not going to run him in QB power or whatever like this. And then immediately they just they call that play. Like, what are you doing? This is the problem, right? Is that Anthony Richardson, he's built like, a Cam Newton, Superman, game-changing freak show of a quarterback. And the desire is, well, if he's going to be anything at this level, you need to tap into that. Otherwise, he's just an inaccurate pocket passing quarterback, right? So they're using that. But now, as we just saw on the screen, those 4 injuries in 7 games, like if that is his rate of injury with this approach, that doesn't work. Like, you cannot treat yourself as a battering ram if that is the outcome. Now, maybe he's just been staggeringly unlucky, right? I mean, we're just on a ridiculous run of 4 injuries in 7 starts. But that can't continue. Like, one of those 2 things needs to change. Either his injury rate needs to stop occurring at the frequency that it is, or he needs to stop launching himself into hard-hitting safeties with his back, right? That's just silly. Like, we talk about protecting yourself as a quarterback. And okay, he might want to protect himself less than a guy that weighs 205 pounds, a quarterback. But that's the type of hit where even at the time, it just looked ridiculous. You're like, what are you doing? You cannot throw yourself kidney first into a safety's head. Like, that's just a stupid thing to do.
You shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't.
I mean, those who have listened to us for the many years here, I push back around draft time when people talk about the slight frame of a quarterback or the huge frame of a quarterback, even as a big man. I think there's some size bias toward the quarterbacks for durability.
Even as a big
right?
man.
Even as a big man. Like, I'm not a more durable quarterback just because I'm 6'10", pushing 300. Yeah. Would I be more durable? I don't think so. I'd be pretty fragile. So Anthony Richardson, probably looks like a big, durable quarterback, but I think durability comes down to playing style. And, Jimmy Garoppolo is slight and gets hurt a lot because I think he's bad at protecting himself. I think Lamar Jackson had a couple freak injuries in there, but overall is very good at protecting himself, never taking that straight hit. Cam Newton at some point took way too many hits.
Well, this is the thing.
And tried to do too much, and he got hurt.
So I don't know that
despite having a big, durable frame. Kirk Cousins has one real injury in his career. He's slight. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't.
There's an Achilles popping on him.
Right. It's just kind of unlucky. He protects himself for the most part.
I don't know that it's always the case. For example, like Josh Allen appears to be an extremely durable, big-bodied quarterback who treats himself like a crash test dummy, right? Like, there are players who are just built out of granite. Brett Favre took 1 million hits in his career. Oh, look, I got a tweet on the
That's
screen.
Your tweet.
Brett Favre was built out of granite. He took 1 million hits, and stuff just didn't break on him, right? There are people who are built different, if you like, than the rest of us humans who just seem to be more durable than others. But other guys aren't, right? And you need to work out if you are one of those people. Otherwise, you can't play that way. So Josh Allen, I think, is a reasonable comp now for Anthony Richardson. Josh Allen might be the closest thing to Richardson in terms of freak show size, physicality, like unusual athlete for the position. And Allen has proven that he can get away with doing that and not leave every game injured, right? Richardson hasn't so far. You are trying to play like Josh Allen, and so far in more than 50% of your games, you are getting hurt, right? So again, either that needs to stop immediately, that run of injuries, and you've been incredibly unlucky, or you need to stop trying to be Josh Allen because it's not working, right? And you appear to be not built out of whatever adamantium construction that Josh Allen is built out of, right? That's their problem. And now they are staring down this barrel again after last year of the player that you want to create doesn't look like it's possible to create based off his injury history, right? And now you need to change completely what you're asking that guy to do.
Now, all that said, the Colts believe he'll be back for the next game.
Right.
But what you're saying is correct. Like a big part. I mean, look, Richardson threw 4 passes. His second pass, he sailed a 5-yard quick out he overthrew it by about 10 yards. Like it was just awful. I went back. I had to rewind it 3 times to see if it was tipped. He just missed it. He also had the big throws in there. He is so inconsistent from an accuracy.
First throw was amazing.
Yeah, first throw was unbelievable. So he's got his incredible throws. He's going to miss some of the easy ones. And the big part of, I think, Richardson's game to mitigate the accuracy is to create more of those open throws with his running ability. And if you have to dial that back and make him sit in the pocket and not have those advantages of the play action, the misdirection, because those runs were wide open too, because he's a great runner. He is a great runner, but he's got to stay healthy. So it just gives the Colts something to think about and to manage when it comes to Anthony Richardson. Now, Joe Flacco came in. You know, for those who haven't been watching closely, you may have been surprised to see Joe Flacco as the backup to the Colts sign there this offseason. Flacco comes in, does a nice job again. Michael Pittman with 6 catches for 113 yards. Josh Downs with a huge game, 8 catches on 9 targets for 82 yards and a touchdown. Flacco ran the offense extremely well. I thought Downs was fantastic working out of the slot. Anytime they had man coverage or a mismatch against the linebacker, he was taking advantage. He was getting open against zone. I want to repeat, like, this Colts offense has a ton of potential. Very good offensive line. With Richardson, they can run it really well. They have a good back in Jonathan Taylor. And now that Josh Downs is back, what's that?
Taylor hurt his ankle. This is a costly game for Indianapolis. They expect Taylor to miss some time. I mean, they're not expecting him to be done for the year or anything.
They have Trey Sermon.
Yeah, but that's not, I'm
just saying, there's a lot of potential on this Colts.
Point being,
Colts offense, the playmakers that they have.
What a week ago was like, hey, look at that devastating backfield of Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor. Well, neither of them are there at the moment.
Both banged up. On the other side, Steelers, I was kind of impressed by Justin Fields. He had one horrible play that he would want back, right? Takes a sack. He's trying to scramble out.
I also think that call was not correct.
The fumble?
Yeah.
I thought it was.
So he lost the ball.
He hit the ground.
Yes, lost the ball.
Got back up.
Yeah.
Then lost the ball. Then what was wrong?
So he lost the ball. So he tried to get himself out of trouble, fell over while spacking up. At this point, everything's going wrong. It's a catastrophe. The defense is closing in. He loses the ball on the ground without being touched. So that's a fumble, right? It's live at that point. The ground can't cause a fumble except when it can. So the ground causes the fumble.
It can't when you're touched.
Right, but that's not the adage, right? The adage is the ground can't cause a fumble, only an incompletion, only it can cause a fumble when nobody's there. So it's just a stupid phrase. Anyway, the ball comes out, but he does regather it and gets his hand on the ball. And at that point, I think it's in firm control.
Oh, you think he got touched?
When he got touched. And that's when they're like, anyway, then it comes out and it comes out. They're like, the replay essentially, or the official and the replay effectively adjudged that he never got it back under control. And because he lost it, it's a fumble, it's a live ball, turnover. I think he actually got his hand back on that and got it under control again, and it shouldn't have been a fumble.
Either way, it was 17-3 at the time. That was a big one. You know, the Steelers still ended up coming back. They still had a game-winning drive opportunity. Again, I thought Fields did a pretty nice job. A couple big plays down the field, 2 scrambles, 2 touchdowns, right, on the ground, scrambling. Yeah, finished with 10 carries for 55 yards. I was kind of impressed by Fields, other than the fumble play, whether it was him or not. Beautiful pass to George Pickens down the field, but then the comeback drive was just a disaster. I mean, rookie center Zach Frazier snaps the ball early. They lose 12. It's then 3rd and 22. Fields checks down. They pick up 11. It's 4th and 11. And then it was kind of a bit of an old Fields play. It's 4th and 11. I thought he had a pass at the sticks that he could have let go, and he didn't, and he scrambled around, and it was nothing. Colts shut it down. But again, Steelers fall to 3-1. I still think I have no idea when Russell Wilson's going to get healthy, but I don't think Justin Fields has played himself out of the job by any means. And
right.
I'm actually more impressed, I think, with him in a game where they were trailing the entire time, that he helped get them back into it in a pass-first situation. He had been really controlled in these low-scoring games the first 3 weeks. I thought he did a nice job bringing the Steelers back. Overall.
Yeah, and George Pickens actually, had a couple of plays that he would want back, where normally Pickens is the one guy consistently making plays, doing spectacular things and kind of raising the level. He actually had a couple of plays where he dropped the pass, fumbled the ball as well.
Drop in the end zone,
yeah,
right, on the really nice scramble drill by Fields.
Like, they were both really high leverage, important plays that he ends up. He makes up for it a bit later, but Pickens was not helping the cause for a period in this game. Fields thrown for 300 yards. I mean, that itself is outside of the norm of what he's been doing. I also wanted to give a shout out to Grover Stewart for one of the best individual plays of the weekend that won't really show up in any box score. The Steelers, I think, were running outside zone to the right side to Stewart's side. Off the line, he took rookie center Zach Frazier, basically blitzed him backwards so that Fields tripped over his own center. So the play is dead because Fields is tripped over trying to get the outside zone. Which, remember, that's the sort of challenging play where the quarterback from under center has to work to even get to the mesh point, right? So it's like, can Kirk Cousins even make it to his running back playing outside zone? Well, Fields couldn't because he was on the ground at the time, having tripped over his own center. And then because Stewart had blown it up so conclusively, once Fields from his knees had effectively got the ball back to Najee Harris, Harris had nowhere to go because Stewart was like right in front of him on the ground at this point. So Grover Stewart just individually completely blew up a run play by destroying the line of scrimmage.
Love that. I mean, Stewart's had. I mean, they've needed to step up with DeForest Buckner injured the last couple weeks. Colts defensive front has. Laiatu Latu had 4 pressures. Dayo Odeyingbo with 8 as of right now. First run PFF. Colts defensive front did a pretty nice job.
Yeah. Held
TJ Watt to just 2 pressures. Had a bunch of other quick wins. It was a Myles Garrett-ish type of game for TJ Watt. A lot of quick wins, but no sacks in this one.
Wow.
What?
You just stoking the flames again.
There's no flames to stoke.
Just stoking them.
I was giving credit to TJ Watt.
By comparing him to Myles Garrett. The Steelers fans will consider that an insult.
I was.
Meanwhile, ironically, Myles Garrett had a TJ Watt kind of game.
Yeah.
Where he didn't win that much, but he got sacks.
Never know what's going to happen week to week. I did want to. So I was touting Flacco. I thought overall he ran the offense fine. Still has this knack for throwing the ball to the defense in the end zone like he did last year with the Browns and having it be dropped.
It's an unfortunate knack to have.
I mean, it's better than having them catch it.
I guess.
It's a bad knack to throw it to them, but it's good that they drop it and it doesn't show up in the box score. Overall, though, take away a couple throws. I thought Flacco did a really nice job distributing. It sounds like Richardson should be back next week for the Colts, though.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to re-emphasize how insane that play was where he got hurt on it, right? They ran the ball. He had like 10 yards of open real estate in front of him and then 2 defenders converging on him. It's the most obvious play in the world to just slide at that point, right? Hit the ground. You're not getting anything more out of this play. You're getting hit, right? So don't take the hit. Instead, he's getting dragged down by the guy chasing him from the side and turns his back into Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's like lined him up to take a hit. Like, it's the most insane play you can make as a quarterback in terms of protecting yourself. A total recklessness for your own body. And that would be fine if you had proven to be built out of stone, but you haven't been. So that's the play you can't make. Like, Russell Wilson was always amazing at this in his career, right? He would take exactly what was there and then slide, hit the ground, live to fight another day. That play was the classic Russell Wilson play, right? Every now and again, he would, the read options to Marshawn Lynch, every now and again, he'd pull one and take 15 yards and then just slide, hit the ground, right? Yeah. That's the play, right? Richardson actually has 10, 15 yards of open space. Then a hit is coming. Just hit the ground.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking back through history, I mean, when we were doing the show 5 or 6 years ago, Russ was the classic guy that we said protects himself really well.
Yeah.
And the guy that we said didn't do a good job of that was Michael Vick.
Right.
And you could say, well, Russ has this thicker body that can handle the hits, and Vick was a little bit skinnier, but Vick did not know how to slide and took way too many hits. Also always ran around so much he looked exhausted by the end of the game. But Russ was perfect at getting out of bounds, sliding, whatever it might be. I think that's what you need. I mean, very few people, to your point, can play the Josh Allen battering ram game or even Cam Newton battering ram game. Newton did it for about 8 or 9 years before he, was too hurt. But yeah, I think something has to happen with Anthony Richardson's playing style going forward.